Well, we talked about the evil ultra-rich, big sugar, big tobacco, big pharma, big oil. And now today we're going to talk about the evils of big meat, how they're making disease and destroying the climate.
Biggest corruption scandal ever anywhere in the world. $788 million in bribes to various officials, 5 former Brazilian presidents, nearly 1 out of 3 cabinet ministers, and almost 1 out of 3 senators have been indicted or investigated.
It's been described as the world's biggest corruption scandal, involving more than $5 billion worth of illegal payments, that so far embroiled Brazil's current and former presidents, at least 2 other former South American leaders, and key members of Brazil's business elite.
Yes, vast amounts of bribery, etc. And destruction of the rainforest and effects on the climate. We have to look at 14.5% of greenhouse gas comes from farming the meat and dairy industry. Doesn't maybe sound like too much, but that's more than all the cars, the trucks, the trains, the planes, and the ships all added together. That's an incredible problem. It created a dramatic problem on the environment.
Rainforest in 1900. And this is the rainforest today.
Who caused all this damage to the rainforest?
Unfortunately, people did.
The rainforest, the tropical rainforest.
Unfortunately, some don't understand, like people coming in and clearing the land. Tragically, this devastation doesn't have to happen. That's why I'm on the mic here, rapping.
Deforestation of the rainforest has been terrible. Near Rio Branco, it's made its mark on the Amazon rainforest for over the last 30 years. 19% of the total area, surface area, has been eradicated, deforested. We're going to show you a little movie.
I am the rainforest. I watched them grow up here. They've left, but they always come back. Yes, they always come back.
In the boardrooms of big business, like the meat industry, they don't really care for climate change. They care about money, 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 more, more, more.
It's a pity to waste a whole Monte Cristo.
Last year alone, Amazon deforestation has jumped 13.7%. A loss of nearly 1.2 billion trees.
Now, deforestation rates are on the rise, and this couldn't be happening at a worse time for the planet, because when it comes to climate change, we are, and I cannot stress this enough, fucked.
The new UN-sponsored Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change report was published this month, bringing a cascade of bad news. According to the report, the world will cross a crucial temperature threshold, with temperatures rising by around 1.5 degrees Celsius as early as 2030. And for South America, the impacts might be particularly bad, with temperatures rising even above the global average.
Dire new warnings about the effects of climate change.
Intense heat, waves, storms,
deadly wildfires, droughts,
ocean dead zones.
People are dying. They are dying.
In 2019, a Nature study forecast that areas currently home to 1.4 million Brazilians will begin suffering constant flooding. Meanwhile, areas occupied by another 1 million people could be permanently submerged as ocean levels continue to rise.
The evil big meat is destroying the rainforest,
creating a problem for the climate.
Is home to 10% of all species on Earth. It absorbs 25% of the carbon emissions captured by the world's forests. The Amazon also produces massive amounts of oxygen and water vapor, which serves as the Earth's cooling system, which is why the Amazon is often called
the lungs of the Earth.
The lungs of the Earth?
The lungs of the Earth.
Yes, the Earth really does breathe. And the driving force of this is the rainforest of the Amazon, which is the largest maker of oxygen and destroyer of carbon dioxide. That's what happens in our lungs. This transmutation of oxygen into carbon dioxide is breathing.
The Amazon has been destroyed. Even though Brazil has laws to protect the environment, those laws aren't always enforced because of insane amounts of political and corporate greed. And I know, as an American, we should probably shut the fuck up when it comes to the moral high ground. Americans lecturing Brazil about corruption is like Steve Bannon launching a skincare line.
And the evil ultra-rich really do put profit over people. And billions die in the name of profit. And the rainforest is no exception.
Corruption in Brazil is truly on a whole nother level. Brazil's last 3 presidents were steeped in scandals. Dilma Rousseff impeached for financial misconduct. Michel Temer charged with corruption. And Lula da Silva currently in jail for...
According to the study, since 2006, sea levels have risen at a rate of 3.6 millimeters a year. At this pace, seas will be over 1 meter higher by the end of the century. And that alone could have a huge impact on coastal cities in Brazil and across the world.
It isn't just corruption as an offense against a person. It's against the entire planet. Yes, the profit drive of evil meat does represent a threat to the future of humanity.
Brazil's massive bribery and money laundering scandal called Operation Car Wash. Now, I'll let Fareed Zakaria, aka the original Brown John Oliver, explain.
The biggest corruption scandal ever anywhere in the world. $788 million in bribes to various officials, 5 former Brazilian presidents, nearly 1 out of 3 cabinet ministers, and almost 1 out of 3 senators have been indicted or investigated.
Part of the scandal are 2 corporate giants, Petrobras, Brazil's state-controlled oil company, and Odebrecht, Latin America's largest engineering firm.
Yes, indeed, the largest corruption, political corruption case in the entire world that's been exposed so far.
Now, unfortunately, things are going to get a lot worse because of Brazil's current president, Jair Bolsonaro. He's a former army captain who answers the question, what if Carl Sagan wasn't properly embalmed?
A warning, what you're about to see is a little graphic. You see, some people in Brazil hate him so much that they stabbed him in public. Brazil's kind of a crazy place, I guess, I don't know. #1 kidnapping spot in the world. Bolsonaro has some really strange views on the world. And one of them is he sees profit over people and really hates the rainforest.
And he's made it very clear where he stands on the environment.
Mr. Bolsonaro campaigned to make Brazil great again, to kickstart its struggling economy, and he sees the Amazon as Brazil's cash cow.
Exploitation on a massive scale where the vegetation has been cleared for logging, farming, and other
Open up
activities.
vast sections of the Amazon rainforest to mining. He said he's going to pardon people who've been fined for deforestation.
After all, Brazil does not owe the world anything when it comes to environmental protection. I'm in favor of torture. You know this, and the people are in favor of it too. If your son starts to become like that, a little gay, you take a whip and you change his behavior.
Oh my God, homophobia is so passé, it's so out of style today.
President, who tweeted a video apparently filmed at a carnival event showing one man urinating on another man in a sexual act.
On the plus side, at least Brazil's seen their president's P-tape. Now, eventually, golden shower presidents started trending online. Bolsonaro then tweeted out, what is a golden shower?
We can't let the presidents start to shape the world with such cruelty. It's oftentimes amazing how greed and bigotry go hand in hand so easily.
That danger is fundamentally being driven by agribusiness, which is the industry that produces the food that we eat. Agribusiness accounts for almost 1/4 of Brazil's economy and is one of the biggest drivers of illegal deforestation. Brazil is the world's largest exporter of sugar, coffee, soybeans, orange juice, and most importantly, beef.
And here we can see the deforestation from satellite pictures from 1985 to 2016, showing extensive deforestation of the rainforest.
Cattle ranching is responsible for up to 80% of deforestation. And to turn the rainforest into grassland, they don't just cut it down, they burn it down.
It's all about creating new pastures. The Amazon rainforest is being burned down and destroyed.
Firefighters, no match for flames this ferocious and this intense.
That curtain of fire igniting palm trees here on the Bolivian-Brazilian border, fueled by wind, the flames leaping across the dry brush.
It's shocking how fast we've seen this fire march. It's moved about 200 yards in the past 5 minutes alone, fueled by this wind. We're going to try to get moving a little bit faster to get out of its way.
Eliseo takes pictures of the tragedy in order to tell the authorities what's going on here. Anything that can still move tries to escape the inferno.
And most of the destruction of the rainforest is happening to further the profits of the evil big meat.
Brazil's beef industry is a huge driver of Amazon deforestation, and it's dominated by a single company called JBS. They're the largest meat processing company in the world. Last year, JBS made $46 billion.
People love the flavor of meat, they get crazy over it, and then greedy people would do anything to make money from that. It's all profit over people, or in this case, profit over the planet.
That's double what McDonald's made. Even more surprising, Brazil only accounts for 24% of their revenue. Their US division generates 76%. That's $35.2 billion. That's right, America. Once again, we are fucking shit up.
The ultimate question is whether or not Brazilian internal politics will win out over the well-being of the Amazon, an area that cleans our air, purifies our water, gives us water in many instances, and on top of that, holds many of the key and important solutions to tomorrow's problems.
I've made a whole TV show on the exploitation of the planet Earth, which you can get from IMFlix. I think, therefore, I watch IMFlix. But the evil ultra-rich can manipulate us so easily and pull our puppet strings. Terrible.
JBS also happens to be one of the most corrupt companies in the world, which isn't shocking because for a long time, it was run by Joe Wesley and Wesley Batista, the Batista brothers. Now, come on. Their names are Joe Wesley and Wesley. They look like dudes on a yacht Liam Neeson has to rescue girls from. The Batista brothers are possibly two of the most corrupt people on Earth.
This is courtesy of NASA. Now here we can see the effects of what greed and corruption has done to the rainforest. If we look at this, we can see from 1975 going forward just the effects of what greed and corruption has done to destroy this oxygen giving the lungs of the planet. And the Batista brothers and these other different types of greedy, evil ultra-rich have put the future of the human race into jeopardy.
And they have history with the Bolsonaro administration. Bolsonaro's current chief of staff has admitted to taking money from JBS. And in the past, the woman who is now Bolsonaro's Minister of Agriculture gave JBS tax breaks while also doing personal business with them.
Brazilians were shocked when President Michel Temer was caught on tape apparently endorsing the payment of hush money to obstruct a major corruption probe. A recording given to prosecutors by the owners of JBS, the world's largest meat processing company.
Joesley Batista, owner of JBS, had recorded the president Michel Temer in an embarrassing conversation.
In exchange for no jail time, Joesley Batista strikes a deal, providing information about bribing 1,829 Brazilian politicians.
Even made a $500 million profit on their own leaked testimony by buying and selling dollars right before and after the story broke, knowing the Brazilian currency would plunge. The besieged president called it the perfect crime.
The Batista brothers admitted to bribing almost 2,000 politicians, spent roughly $150 million just in bribes, and agreed to pay a fine of $3.2 billion.
I don't like what JBS did, but what can I do?
It's very unfair. I think they should be punished. Every one of these crooks should be.
And so, as a form of people's justice, many are boycotting JBS products, which are sold all over Brazil.
JBS's business practices continue to do environmental damage. They have been accused of buying cattle from illegally deforested land in the Amazon, even though they deny it. And investigators recently arrested Joesley Batista again for allegedly bribing officials at Brazil's agriculture ministry. If that doesn't make you sick, their beef just might.
These signs read, "Out of respect for the country and the public, we do not sell JBS products." Some supermarkets and restaurants say they're looking for new suppliers.
Amid the JBS bribed Brazilian food inspectors to give passing grades to spoiled meat. And on the U.S. side, their meat isn't any better.
A massive ground beef recall is now expanding. The USDA says the Brazilian company JBS is now recalling more than 12 million pounds of ground beef shipped to stores across the U.S.
This past year, JBS beef and chicken from the U.S. were found to have been contaminated with hard plastic, rubber, and E. coli.
20,000 tons of meat, passed off as mutton, has been found to contain everything from fox to minx to rat. Over 900 people have been arrested as broke up a crime ring in the latest fake meat scandal. 20,000 tons of meat, passed off as mutton, has been found to contain everything from fox to minx to rat. Over 900 people have been arrested as broke up a crime ring in the latest fake meat scandal.
Yes, there are some health risks in eating processed meat, and
hidden cameras reveal that fresh packaged meat may be older than the labels suggest, and it means you could be exposed to harmful bacteria. Thomas Daigle explains.
When choosing meat at the grocery store, the easiest way to find the freshest cut is usually to check the packaging date. Once the meat is packaged, authorities recommend it should be eaten within 2 to 3 days. But it turns out the date on the label can't always be trusted.
When the product is expired, when it's 3 days old, we check to see if it looks okay and smells okay, then we repackage it and put it back on the shelf.
That's right.
Eating any type of red meat.
The U.S. had banned all Brazilian beef imports, including JBS, indefinitely. Do you know how bad your meat has to be for Americans to notice?
Hidden cameras reveal that fresh packaged meat may be older than the labels suggest, and it means you could be exposed to harmful bacteria. Thomas Daigle explains.
When choosing meat at the grocery store, the easiest way to find the freshest cut is usually to check the packaging date. Once the meat is packaged, authorities recommend it should be eaten within 2 to 3 days. But it turns out the date on the label can't always be trusted.
When the product is expired, when it's 3 days old, we check to see if it...
McDonald's uses human meat as a filler in their 100% beef hamburgers, and the fact that McDonald's has been accused of using worm meat fillers. Now, inspectors have allegedly found human meat and horse meat in the freezers of an Oklahoma City McDonald's meat factory. Human meat was also recovered in several trucks that were on their way to deliver the patties to the fast food restaurants. According to various reports, authorities have inspected factories and restaurants across the country and have found human meat in 90% of the locations. Horse meat was found in 65% of the locations. FBI agent Lloyd Harrison told reporters, "The worst part is that it's not only human meat, it's child meat." The body parts were found across the U.S. factories and were deemed too small to be adult body parts. This is truly horrible. Cannibalism has gone back tens of thousands of years and is still present today.
It looks okay and smells okay, then we repackage it and put it back on the shelf.
That's right.
We thought Super Size Me was just a normal movie, no lessons. It actually just made us hungrier.
And the Super Size Me, that was really incredible, because it really should have taught us a lesson, but many people didn't learn.
The Amazon has never been more vulnerable. Between political corruption, Bolsonaro's pro-business agenda, and the incentives of agribusiness, the Amazon is going to keep burning.
The major reason of the destruction of the Amazon is evil big meat.
Evil big meat.
But there is some hope. The strongest blockade against deforestation isn't more regulation or enforcement or fines. It's people.
McDonald's uses human meat as a filler in their 100% beef hamburgers, and the fact that McDonald's has been accused of using worm meat fillers. Now, inspectors have allegedly found human meat and horse meat in the freezers of an Oklahoma City McDonald's meat factory. Human meat was also recovered in several trucks that were on their way to deliver the patties to the fast food restaurants. According to various reports, authorities have inspected factories and restaurants across the country and have found human meat in 90% of the locations. Horse meat was found in 65% of the locations. FBI agent Lloyd Harrison told reporters, "The worst part is that it's not only human meat, it's child meat." The body parts were found across the U.S. factories and were deemed too small to be adult body parts. This is truly horrible. Cannibalism has gone back tens of thousands of years and is still present today.
The Javari Valley Indigenous Reserve. 8 million hectares of Brazilian Amazon, the size of Austria. It's home to the largest number of non-contacted tribes in the world, photographed only rarely from the air.
There are nearly 1 million indigenous people in Brazil, and almost half of them live in the rainforest. Research shows that when indigenous people have legal and physical protection, so does the rainforest. Now,
we need to stand with the guardians of the forest to help them to protect the Amazon. Yes, the rainforest is home to many people. We really need the rainforest. There's a great concern for the Brazilian rainforest and its effect on global climate.
A time lapse of deforestation. The red is loggers and ranchers, and that part right there is protected indigenous land. And the only reason they stop is because these tribes are not fucking around.
The Guajajara Indians, armed and in full camouflage, crouched down for an ambush.
With very little resources, very little financial support, their battle continues every day.
These vigilante patrols began 6 years ago as a way to battle the region's powerful logging mafia. They call themselves the Guardians of the Forest.
The Guajajara are one of 305 tribes that have official demarcated land that is legally protected by Brazil's constitution, but it is still a war for them.
These guardians don't ask much, but at least your emotional support. Don't eat beef. Improve your life.
And look, I know deforestation has been on the rise well before Bolsonaro, but no modern Brazilian president has ever been this hostile toward the indigenous.
There's not going to be a centimeter of land demarcated for indigenous reservations.
Oh yes, my bigot friends give me a golden shower of praise. Oh yes, it feels so good.
You said recently that if it depended on you, the Indians wouldn't have even 1 centimeter of land.
Centimeter.
Yes.
I said it wrong. Not even 1 millimeter.
I don't know, racism sounds weird to me when you use the metric system.
Bigotry takes many faces and many shapes, and we have to try to boycott it. Many people are bigots, and they can elect a bigot, and then this becomes a problem for society.
On the night of Bolsonaro's election in October, a hospital and a school on an indigenous reserve were firebombed, and land invasion, when loggers and ranchers take indigenous land, that has increased 150%.
The indigenous people of the Amazon need protection. They have rights.
Borders are a thorn in the side of many farmers. They want their cattle to be able to penetrate the reserve.
First of all, I believe in God, and then in the words of our president, Bolsonaro. He promised we would soon be able to enter the reserve.
I promise to beat my meat, then penetrate the anal reserve and destroy the rainforest.
The department in charge of overseeing indigenous lands is an agency called FUNAI. On Bolsonaro's first day in office, he took that function away from FUNAI and gave it to the Ministry of Agriculture. Remember? The same government agency that JBS paid off for years. And even now, Brazil's agriculture minister wants to open indigenous land to commercial farming.
80 sitting Brazilian politicians are now under investigation, and the scandal has spread to 16 countries across 4 continents, implicating other leaders and politicians.
The entire way of life. Save the rainforest. Don't eat beef. Get the Impossible Whopper. At least wise its plants.
519 years after the Portuguese set foot in Brazil, it's the same fight. On one side are the people who live on the land and want to protect it, and on the other side are the people who see the Amazon as a resource to exploit. In Sonia's lifetime alone, over 1,400 people have been murdered in Brazil because of land disputes.
Yes, people are dying from the effects of greed. And there is an evil, greedy, arrogant, secret society that puts profit over people and evil after rich that will never be taken to court. You can learn more about these people if you go to I Am Flix. We need to cut the strings that they have over us. And we need to recognize that there's something else we could do. We could eat beans, not meat. Let's look at vegetable burgers. Yes, evil big meat, making disease while destroying the climate. Well, now let's talk about plant-based meats and look at some of the reactions.
We conducted an experiment to evaluate how well Whopper fans know their beloved Whopper. The people you will see here are real people, and these are their real reactions.
I've probably eaten about 2 Whoppers a week for the last 20 years.
I love Whoppers. I've turned Burger King into a crime scene a time or two.
I absolutely love beef. Beef all the way.
If it's not beef, I don't want it. First bite, I would know the difference between beef and whatever else you have.
Little do they know, their Whopper patty was actually made from plants.
You're f***ing kidding me.
We're not, Grant.
Wait, plant-based? What are you talking about?
No animals, just plants.
Really?
This is a f***ing cow.
No f***ing cow.
Tastes like a Whopper.
Tastes like Whopper.
Tastes like a beef burger.
It's made of f***ing beef right here. You see that? It's beef.
We swear, it's not beef.
That's impossible. It tasted just like a Whopper should taste.
Lies!
A patty with 0 milligrams of cholesterol, 17 grams of protein, 100% Whopper, and 0% beef. We know it's impossible to believe.
Confused. I'm reevaluating my life.
American, how can I help you? Hi, may I have a Impossible Whopper? It's impossible! You bit it! Just kidding. Good. I don't mind it. Does it taste like a burger to you, or is it just good? It tastes like a burger, just not like the greasy part of the burger. Oh! I would think it's a burger. You can taste like the smokiness on it. Yes. That's what really gives it that burger. And no cows were injured. Oh my god, this is actually good. Queen! I'm actually really surprised.
We're at Burger King. We ordered the Impossible. No cheese, no mayo.
Made it vegan.
We're gonna show the reaction. Oh yeah, okay.
Tastes just like a regular, actually better than a fast food burger.
Nice.
So all you motherfuckers start eating fucking Impossible.
Thank you. Go vegan.
Is it possible?
Impossible Whopper. Here we go. That's damn good.
Like, it's meaty. Yeah, you taste like the char taste, the charcoal. The only thing you're not getting is like the greasiness from like the fat of a burger. Yeah, that's the only thing. Well, on the side a little you could. Would you get this as a burger or would you just get a regular burger? I don't see the difference. I would get this.
This company's goal is very clear, which is to eliminate the need for animals in the food system by 2035.
Raising food animals and the crops to feed them consumes a third of fresh water and nearly half of all the available land on planet Earth. Remaining forests are rapidly being felled for farming, destroying biodiversity and accelerating global warming. About 15% of all greenhouse gas emissions come from animal farming. Methane, the product of bovine belching and flatulence, is 30 times more potent than carbon dioxide at trapping atmospheric heat. The people in this industry say that if consumers begin adopting plant-based meats in a big way, it could have an enormous effect on global warming.
The current system of producing meat is not sustainable. Ergo, it will definitely go away at some point. We've reached peak cow.
Is meat the new tobacco? Well, there are health risks to overeating meat, not getting the fiber, not getting the nutrition that plant has. There are health risks that we have to look at, cannot be ignored. They're not as extreme as cigarettes, but there are health risks from the meat. Let's look back at the plant-based reactions.
These burgers are made from plants and have similar ingredients. The main ingredients in an Impossible Burger are water, soy protein concentrate, coconut and sunflower oil, and natural flavors. What makes Impossible Burgers unique is that they bleed like a real beef burger thanks to the soy hemoglobin. Beyond Meat's burgers' primary ingredients are water, pea protein, coconut oil, and canola oil. Beyond uses beet juice extract to give their burgers a realistic look.
It tastes like a beef burger. That one definitely tastes, this one definitely tastes more like beef.
Okay, that one tastes like a damn burger.
Actually, it looks like if you hadn't told me that this was a plant-based burger, I would 100% believe that this is a beef.
The flavor on this is outstanding. And
plant-based for real, y'all. Red ring of death, onions, lettuce, and then the plant-based, it looked like beef dough. Do you see what I see? Yo, I'm getting more of a seared bite on the Impossible Whopper than I'm getting on the actual Whopper. No. No. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not gonna trip. I wanted to come in a 100% hater. I'm gonna tell you off the top. I wanted to take a bite of this and be like, no, I don't, I'm gonna just flat out say it. Your Impossible Whopper, BK, is better than your actual Whopper, BK. Your Impossible Whopper, BK, is better than your actual Whopper, BK.
All protein. Well, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. You can lead an asshole to logic, but you can't make him think. But if you want to think, I think, therefore I am. Go to IMFlix and learn more.